Hi, it's Ian here. Welcome to another 5-minute marketing tip. A couple of weeks ago, I did a really popular video on how to come up with 100 ideas for content. So blog posts you could do, or podcasts or videos. Now, if you haven't watched that particular video, there's a link to it below. You can go and click on it and see how to generate those 100 ideas. Now, that video took as its starting point the fact that you already had a topic or an area in mind you wanted to create content about. Now, this video, we're going to notch it up a level and talk about how to decide what areas, what topics to focus on, what's going to bring the most value to you or your clients. So what should you be writing about? So I'll see you after the swoosh. Hi, welcome back. So what area should you be writing about or creating videos about or podcasts about that's going to bring the most value to your clients and to you? Well, there are really 4 criteria I like to use when I'm reviewing what it is I should be writing about. The first of those criteria is the simplest one. You have to write or create content about stuff that your clients really care about. I know that sounds obvious, but what I think it's a little bit more detailed than most people go into. Most people write about things that their clients have problems with or aspirations or goal, but it's not enough for something just to be a problem that your client has. It has to be one of their top 1, 2 or 3 problems, because if it's problem number 7 or problem number 15 on their big agenda, they might decide that they want to get around to it someday, but they're not going to be immediately grabbed by it. So if you post it on Facebook or LinkedIn and it whizzes past in their status updates, they're not going to notice it. It's going to pass them by if it's not one of their top 3 priorities. If it is one of their top 3 priorities, if they're constantly worried about it or thinking about it, then it's going to jump out at them. They're going to click on it and they're going to go and read it, or they're going to be searching on Google for it and they're going to go and find it. So it has to be one of the top 3 priorities. Now, next criteria is that whatever you write about has to be new to your clients. Now, what I mean by that is that there are many topics you could be writing about that are kind of tried and true, wisdom, timeless wisdom, things that are right, but that your clients already know. It's just that they're not doing it or they haven't done it well. Those are not great topics to write about unless you put a new twist on them. Now, it might be that they really need to improve in that area, but the truth is that as human beings, as consumers of information, we're constantly on the lookout for novelty, for new things. And it's kind of been trained into us since we were on the kind of savannah plains looking out for leopards appearing from, behind the foliage. So if you're not creating stuff that's new, people just aren't going to pay attention. They're going to look at it, they're going to see the title, and they're going to think, oh yeah, I already know that. Oh, I've read something on that before. I'll move on to the next thing. So you need to create something that's novel and new. Now, if you are writing about something that your client that is kind of well known, but your clients aren't doing, then the way to make that new isn't to write about that topic per se. It's to write about why they're not implementing it, why they're not getting results with it, why they have problems with it. That is new information for them. Now, generally, if you want to create new information, it's a good idea to use your own personal experience. That could be either stuff you're doing with your clients, obviously get permission from your clients to share their experiences, the things you've done with them. That will be new to your clients because obviously new to your potential clients because it's stuff they won't have seen because it's private stuff you've done with your current clients. Or it could be stuff you've done yourself in your own business or from your own experience. Again, that'll be new to them because you haven't shared that before. Personally, I do a lot of that. I share the kind of experiments and the trials I run with my marketing, and then I show people what worked for me and what didn't work for me. And that's always really interesting, always gets a great response. Or if you are gathering publicly available information, don't just regurgitate it, compile the biggest reference guide there's been and reinterpret or look at and analyze the results in a different way that's never been done before. So make sure whatever you're writing about is new information for people, otherwise they just won't be interested. Thirdly, make sure you care about it and you're interested in it. So just as important as your clients being interested in it, you've got to be interested in it. I don't know if you've ever been kind of trying to write an article or something like that and that your writing just kind of peters out. Usually that's because you're not interested enough in the topic to keep it going. If you're really enthusiastic about the topic, you'd do more research, you'd be really energetic, you'd really want to get that thing out. If it peters out, it's usually because you're not interested enough. So make sure you're writing about topics that you really care about, and that passion will shine through in your writing as well and make it a more interesting read. Finally, make sure you are writing about topics that move your clients' thinking forward. So What I mean by that is if typically your clients, and typically clients fit into one of three categories. Often they have a general problem they're thinking about. They know their leadership isn't great, but they don't know exactly what's wrong with it. If they have a general problem like that, where they don't know exactly what the issue is, then your writing, your blog post, your videos should help them diagnose specifically what's wrong. So that moves them forward from a general feeling that something's wrong towards, you know what, I know what it is. Now, if they already know what it is, they know what the problem is, then your writing, your content should help them move forward to identifying some of the solutions they could use. And again, that moves them forward. If they already know what some of the solutions are, but they're not quite sure who to go with, who should help them, what solution to choose, then your writing should give them the criteria they can use to choose a solution or choose a provider to go with to help them solve the problem. Again, that moves them forward. In each of the cases, it moves the client forward, so they're getting value from it, but it also moves them closer to working with you. Because if they've got a general feeling about a problem, but they don't know specifically what it is, they're not going to be able to work with you to help them solve that problem because it's just too general. It's just all up in the air and they won't be ready to move forward. If they're not sure what criteria to use to decide on a provider to help them, then you giving them the criteria, again, helps them get them ready to buy. And ideally, of course, those criteria are ones that you're going to meet really well, so it helps move them towards working with you. So those are the 4 big criteria. Make sure your clients really care about it. It's one of their top 1, 2 or 3 priorities. Make sure it's new information for your clients. Don't just regurgitate old stuff. Put a new twist on it. Thirdly, make sure you care about it and you're interested in it. And fourthly, make sure the topic you write about moves your clients thinking forwards, both to help them and to move them closer to working with you. That's it for this week. See you next.